Welcome to the Quest Forums channel and to our ongoing look at Mark's Gospel. The article for today, and you can find a link for that in the description, it looks at Mark chapter 2 verse 1 through chapter 3 verse 6. There's 5 passages in this story, and in them, Mark describes the beginning of Jesus' conflict with the religious authorities of his day. Now for this video, I just want to look at the last one, in Mark chapter 3, verses 1 through 6. Jesus is visiting a synagogue, and he's already in the midst of that conflict with the Pharisees at this point. He's already told them that they are wrong in their way of applying the Sabbath, that the Sabbath was not made so that people had to follow this rule strictly, but rather that it was made for the benefit of humanity so that they would learn to rest and rely on the Lord. And the Pharisees are not happy about this because for them, holiness comes down to following the rules exactly. They disagree with Jesus. And so they decide to set him up, that while he's in the synagogue, they're going to create a situation where he will break the law and therefore they can accuse him. Their genius plan in this case is to have a man there with a withered hand, a deformity of the hand. And they expect that Jesus is going to heal him, which, of course, Jesus will. They have absolutely no problem with the fact that Jesus has the power to do this, but they ignore that power. They ignore the work of God among them and are more focused, again, on their legalism. And so Jesus points out their hypocrisy. He asks this question: is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath or to do evil, to save life or to kill? And then he heals the man. And he does that in a pretty funny way, as far as I'm concerned, where he doesn't touch the guy, or there's no ceremony or pronouncement. He just tells him, stretch out your hand. And the guy stretches out his own hand, and so Jesus effortlessly heals this man, which shows his power again. But it also meant that he didn't have to do any work, so he wasn't breaking that Sabbath regulation. The Pharisees are furious about this, and they rush out of the synagogue, and they immediately get to work. They start working on a plan to kill Jesus. And so they prove the point of his earlier question. He's not the lawbreaker. They are. And there are a lot of lessons that we can learn from the Pharisees by negative example. And the first one is that we don't want to be like them in siding against Jesus. We do want to be associated with him. We want to be following him. We don't want to be his enemies. But along with that, there's also the matter of not wanting to be legalistic, which can be dangerous for Christians. So there are a lot of rules in the Bible, a lot of morality in the Bible, and we can fall into this trap of making those rules more important than people. That's something that we don't want to do. We want to be like the Lord. We want to be able to show compassion and recognize that other people, like ourselves, can't be perfect. And so we need God's forgiveness. And then there is also a lesson in this as far as being like a Pharisee for people who are not Christians, for people who are outside of the Christian faith, that they, of course, are not with Jesus. And so that's the first problem. But then there's also the matter that they can be very self-righteous, that people can create their own sets of rules. And as long as they follow those, and they can even be very contradictory, but as long as they're doing that, then as far as they're concerned, they are being righteous. They are living rightly and doing what's required of them. And we do need to be able to point out that that's not the case, that God does have expectations of human beings, that he has every right to command, and that we don't have a right to ignore. And so again, for Christians, that represents a tightrope walk, where we want to avoid legalism, but we also want to avoid a kind of libertine attitude where we just let people, not let, but where we encourage people to do whatever it is that they want to, because that's not right either. And so we have to present them with the gospel, and we have to do so by being grateful, by recognizing the grace that we've been given, the transformation in our lives because we know Christ and what he has freed us from. And that's what we need to present to the world so that they can be drawn to him as well. That's what everything is about. So what do you think about all of this? Is there anything that you want to make mention of, or maybe a point that I've missed, something that you want to draw to my attention, or maybe just have a question about this or something else in the Bible? Feel free to leave a comment with that or to reach out. There's a few ways you can do that in the description. Thanks very much for checking out this video. And until next time, keep looking up.